Hello everyone, welcome to the video. Hope you're doing well. So today's video is going to be kind of my first full class guide for World of Warcraft, so bear with me. A little bit nervous with it, not going to lie, just because at the end of the day I am still fairly new to the game, but those who know me and those who've watched my videos know that I do an extensive amount of research before I'm willing to put out any videos, so I'm pretty confident this is going to be a really great guide for you. And as it stands right now, we're on patch 10.0.5. Nothing too much has changed. We're going to go through sort of like gear, rotation, talents, all that sort of stuff, so you guys can work around it. I'm going to give you guys a couple of things that I feel that other videos I've personally watched don't actually go over as well. So we're just going to get straight into it. If you enjoy the video, then drop a like and subscribe as always. All right, so first thing we're going to do is talk about the gear and the sort of stat priority that you really want to go for. Now, obviously with World of Warcraft, it's a bit different to other MMOs I've covered in the past where you just need to get a specific gear, but there is still tier sets within this game, so you want to be aiming to get the Skybound Avengers Legards, the grips, the shoulders, which I don't have yet, and the head, which I don't have yet as well. So you can see there with these, you get a 2-piece and a 4-piece kind of buff, which buff up kind of two of your main abilities that you're going to be using a lot of the time. Again, we'll get into them specifically when we talk about the rotation. But the two spells that they are Chaos Strike and Blade Dance, which again, in regardless of kind of whether you're doing Mythic Plus, Raid, or anything, are kind of the optimal PvE set to get. It's the best in slot you can get for your Havoc Demon Hunter. And essentially what that does is just buff up the damage and the crit chance you get from wearing the 2 and the 4-piece. All right, that's what you want to aim for. Obviously they're a lot easier to get now. You don't actually have to raid to get them. All you would simply have to do is complete a quest called the Revival Catalyst. Every week you can get up to, once you've completed 100% of it, you normally just have to do like 4 mythic dungeons, or well, it says complete group content. I got to 100% by doing 4 mythic plus dungeons. I don't know if it changes if you do normal dungeons or heroic dungeons or anything like that, if that changes it, but basically just by doing, I know guaranteed 4 mythic dungeons get you 100%. They give you 25% each, and they reward you with a currency that you can then spend at the Revival Catalyst, which is over in Tearhold. It's kind of just up in this section up here. And if you have like, you can literally get 2 of them, or you could go and get 4. You can have up to 6 per character, or per account it might be. It's account wide, I know that much. So you could do it on one character and then go spend them on another character. But you can only hold up to 6. I think it's per character. So what that'll do is then you could then change your... My plan is this week basically to go and get 2 slots so that I can change my shoulders and my head. And then I have the 4-piece and everything's golden. You can do that without actually having to go into the raid and get them. And because you'll get them as Mythic Plus drops, they'll be Mythic, not like, for example, I have the raid drop from when the raid first came out. Like, I have quite a low level one, but I do have the raid ones there from the raid finder. They can't be upgraded, but the Mythic ones can. See there, it says upgrade level 1 out of 13. I typically went and got upgrade level 7 out of 13 in my vault when I opened it this morning. So that's a thing. Typical. So you can upgrade them at the vendor in Valdrakken, who is just in this little cave down here. You can go and spend your Valor points, which you'll get from completing Mythic dungeons, and then you can upgrade them as well. So they're 4 pieces that you can pretty much guarantee you can get now, and you can upgrade them just by grinding the game a little bit. So they're the 4 pieces you really want to focus on because they're kind of in your control to get. You're not risking it, or you're not waiting on a drop, for example. Apart from that, obviously, everything else is just dropped. So what I'm using here, if you can get 2 of these, they are the Fist of the Grand Summoner. Really good if you can get 2. I'm just using Refraction's Edge as my offhand for now. But what you want to really aim for is, in Mythic Plus especially, is the Mystacria Harvesters. I can't get these because I actually got these from, I think it was a Mythic Zero, or for whatever reason they are a mythic item, but I can't upgrade them for whatever reason. I can't remember why now it is. But if you can drop two of them, and I think you get them from the Alagathar Academy. They're really good because they have a really good crit strike and versatility. But the actual main stats you want to go for, so when you are getting drops, obviously, you know, if you're first starting out and you're just getting into mythics and whatnot, you want to obviously make sure that you're just aiming for the right stats. So the main thing you want to always focus on is your crit strike and your mastery. Okay, so my crit strike's up at 4,500, my mastery's at 2,000. Again, I'm nowhere near, you know, top tier level yet, but these are what you want to aim for. Obviously, crit strike being the main one, mastery underneath it, and then haste after that, really. And if you can get any kind of, well, I want to show you kind of how you can definitely get them, but any extra things that you can get with certain drops is you want to try and get avoidance if you can as well. Really good because it takes reduces damage taken from area of effect attacks, which obviously happens a lot in Mythic Plus. You only need to be looking about between 5 and 7% for this though, so don't worry too much. But I'm going to go around, and you can buy these on the auction house if you have the money, or you can craft them with certain professions. If you look at some of my items, they are enchanted. All right, so only certain items can actually be enchanted, and then there's certain items you can socket gems into as well if you get a socketed piece of gear. So just to go through kind of what I've done. So on my cloak, you want to try and get an enchanted graceful avoidance, which again adds to your avoidance. On your chest, you want to get waking stats, which helps push up your actual, basically your overall stats. Wrists, we went for a plus 200 avoidance there, again, to help push up the avoidance. And the legs, you want to look for a fierce armor kit. Again, that just helps buff up your overall stats. Legs, we got Watcher's Loam. And you can just search these in the auction house and you can buy them for, I'm not quite sure how much they go for now. And then with the rings, we just went for plus 82 crit strike on both. And then on the weapons, I use two kind of consumables here. Well, not consumables. I enchant them both with Sophic Devotion, which helps push up your damage. And then we use Buzzing Rune as well, which are my consumables down here, which increase the crit strike rating by 310, but they're only for 2 hours. So they're like timed. They're timed. You can see them in the buff bars up here. So you just keep an eye on them when they come off, and then you can add a couple more on, alright? Couple consumables to make sure you've kind of always got on you as well for like really good burst damage. Oh, let me close that. There's the Elemental Potion of Power. Drink to increase your primary stat by 664 for 30 seconds. So on Havoc Demon Hunter, it's agility. So again, it's just going to increase basically your overall damage. But you only get 30 seconds. So it's kind of used in like a bursty kind of high damage window, which I'll get into when I go through the rotation, kind of how and where to use it. And then the last two things we'll really talk about with the trinkets. Two trinkets that I'm using at the moment, which I find really good. This is probably a little bit better for raid. I'm not gonna lie, but these two are really good. So the Algathar's puzzle box, again, it's only a 20-second, but when you use it, you increase your mastery by 3,000. It's quite a bit. So if we use that now, our mastery jumps up to 5,500, which increases our chaos damage and our movement speed. And it actually, because of where our because of where it sits with the amount of mastery we have, it actually goes above our crit strike. So they work really well together. But again, you get 20 seconds and then it goes, and then you're back down. All right. So you kind of, it's got a long cooldown on it, so you're not going to be using it a lot. Maybe just on the opener of a boss fight, maybe, or something. But you pair that with that, and again, this has a 5-minute cooldown as well. So they're not things you're going to be using all the time, but they're really good. And then the other trinket, which is the Manic Grief Torch, basically just unleashes a volley of flame around you. It's just good for AoE. It deals a lot of damage. I can't show you right now, but it's just kind of, it's a nice one to use because it comes from like, if you come into a part where you don't have a lot of chaos, you're waiting for your essence break window. Again, I'll explain all these in a minute. It's just a nice little ability to have there. Deal a lot of damage around you. It works really well. So before I actually go into the rotation, I'm going to go through the talents really quickly with you. And there's a few different builds. They kind of all follow a very similar pattern, regardless of who you look at, because these just are the best talents to use. There's no sort of, it's not going to be majorly different from someone else. There's a couple things different than other people's. But there'll probably be other people out there who are running the exact same one as me, so we don't know. But just going through your main class points here, you know, you're gonna just obviously take your top three: your Vengeful Retreat, your Sigil Flame, all that kind of stuff. And then your Unrestrained Fury, which again just increases the fury we get, and then our Imprison. Again, we don't use it a lot, but it's just better than Shattered Restoration. And you're gonna come down here. You're gonna take these middle three. They're gonna feed into Fellblade, which we use as a kind of like a gap closer. Miss out these other middle two, and then bring it down here to Charred Warblades and Pursuit. Bring it down to Master of Glaive, Rush of Chaos, and Lost in Darkness. Rush of Chaos is a main one because it actually reduces the cooldown of Metamorphosis by 60 seconds. It still has quite a long cooldown on it, so to reduce that works out lovely. We're going to take Chaos Nova, and we're going to take Sigil of Misery as well. From Sigil of Misery, we're going to actually, this is kind of where it deviates from other people. We've opted into Misery of Defeat, which means we deal 20% increased damage to enemies for 5 seconds after Sigil of Misery's effect on them ends. So it just pumps up the amount of damage we do, which is really good. I wouldn't bother with the other one, which is reducing the cooldown, because Sigil of Misery doesn't really come into our main rotation, so we don't need the cooldown to be there. But it's just nice to have it there as an extra sort of ability, because it then it's another ability to have when we're not in our kind of essence break window in our main sort of rotation. You want to take Demonic out of these two, because that then causes I-Beam to enter Demonic, and Demonic is basically the start of our essence break or our main sort of rotation. Come down, you get Darkness, really good ability to have when in any kind of group sort of scenario. Just allows your group to basically have a 20% chance to avoid all damage from an attack, and it's only going for 8 seconds, but it's good. And you bring it all down, you take it off with the Hunt and Collective Anguish. That just allows basically another demonic person to come and help you when you're doing your I-Beam, so it just adds more damage to it. And then out of these two, you're going to take Unnatural Malice, which increases the damage over time effect of the Hunt by 30%. So again, really good. This is kind of going to be standard across kind of all your builds, to be fair. There's not really much you would ever need to change. But specifically for Mythic Plus, in your Havoc, you're going to basically take your two sides. Alright, up here is pretty much what's going to be the same, but raid builds and stuff will be dependent and change certain things around. But for Mythic Plus, some people will tell you can take out Lux Can Kill and put in Fell Eruption, so you have a stun if you want to. Personally, just prefer to take the extra damage, or well, the guaranteed crit damage, should I say? Sorry. Chaotic Transformation's a really big one that you want, because it allows us to kind of enhance our rotation a bit, because when we activate our demonic, when we activate Metamorphosis, sorry, the cooldowns of Blade Dance and I-Beam are immediate reset, which are again two really big abilities that we're going to be using a lot. And then you're going to come for like the initiative momentum kind of build. So you're going to go down the left hand side here to get initiative, Unbound Chaos, Tactical Retreat, and momentum, which then just simply leads into Know Your Enemy, and then obviously Essence Break, which is a really good ability. And then down the right hand side, you know, you're going to just go Trial of Ruin, Growing Inferno, Burning Wounds. You want to make sure you take Accelerating Blades, because it just increases the damage for each enemy hit. Make sure you take up Soul Rend, obviously it's really good, because it takes an additional 120% damage dealt as Chaos over 6 seconds, so it adds like a dot to your throw glaives, which is nice. And then you want to come down and take it with any means necessary. But, and then out of these two, for Mythic Plus, I would recommend Fodder to the Flame. Basically, what happens is with this is you have a chance to an enemy that's going to attack you. They are really annoying. But when you throw glaive them, as you can see in the tooltip, it deals 21,000 chaos damage to nearby enemies when they explode and heals you for 25% of our maximum health. So it can be good to just kind of have them. They don't do a huge amount of damage. They're just more of an annoyance than anything. So you can kind of pull them into a mob, Vengeful Retreat out, throw glaive, and then they'll explode and you get some health back as well. So it works out really nice, and this is a really good Mythic Plus build. And I find I've tried a couple different ways. I've, took out this, put in that, changed it to Elysian Decree. In general, I think this is the optimized Mythic Plus sort of talent build. I'm not gonna lie. Not that I will PvP on this build, but if you do want the, I'm using Sigil Mastery, Unending Hatred, and Cleansed by Flame. If you want the PvP, they're there for you. So moving on to the rotation now. That's why I didn't do the rest of the video here, because there's a lot of people just training and stuff right now. So the kind of opener that you would want to do is basically you want to take your, well, like let's say the tank does a pull 2 seconds before the pull. I'm going to do this really slow, so this won't give you all the effects, but kind of just watch up here where the buffs appear, and that's how we kind of build up to then smash them with Essence Break. And yeah, you'll see what I mean. So you're going to just come in. Oh, what the hell? Something's happened with my keybinds. 2 seconds. Okay, that was weird. I don't know why that was happening. So yeah, you're going to Sigil. You'll see that pop. You're going to crit. And then this procs Fell Rush. Do that. Then you're going to hunt back in. You're going to I-beam. You're going to Vengeful Retreat over. Essence Break. Back in. Death Sweep. Then Metamorphosis. Resets. Death Sweep. I-beam. Annihilation. Annihilation. Fell Blade again. Resets this back up. Annihilation. You can hit your Chaos Strike. What you want to make sure is as well, what you don't do though, after that second I-beam, you want to just wait until Essence Break's back on. Now another thing, see here, when these guys appear, these are the annoying little things. What you want to do is Vengeful Retreat and throw glaive, okay? I didn't target him, but you see the damage done there when he blew up? You get slightly more damage out of your throw glaive if you Vengeful Retreat just before it. Okay. So your throw glaive you can kind of slot in as and when. You don't have to use it as much if you don't want to. But you can see there I-beam and Essence Break are back up now. So the main kind of thing you want to do when, like, that's kind of your opener, but kind of just when you're doing damage and, just fighting and whatnot, is basically you want to just make sure you line up your Demonic, your Vengeful Retreat, and then your Essence Break, like that, right there. Fuck that guy, that's really annoying. So they're the kind of main kind of burst damage. Obviously you will pop this, and then this. I-beam. Essence Break, get back in there. And Annihilation, Annihilation. Get a throw glaive in there as well if you want to. And then it's just a case of, biding your time. Chaos Striking, Fell Rushing, throw glaives as and when you need to. Blade Dance, Chaos Strike. Obviously remember we can use our Manic Grief Torch as well here to do a lot of AoE damage. Put your Sigil of Misery down as well when you're kind of waiting on things to come back up. You don't need to worry about using your Sigil of Flame too often if you don't want to, but it's there. And then again, you just I-beam, Vengeful Retreat, Essence Break, and Death Sweep, Annihilation, and a second Annihilation if you're a bit quicker. obviously bear in mind that you've got your disrupt, which is literally called disrupt. Darkness to apply as well. Again, got a long cooldown on it. But again, just to have around, you know, stick it down during boss fights and so on. Spectral Insight we're never going to ever use, but you've got Blur as well if you ever need to get out of it. Increases our dance to dodge by 50%, so if you start taking damage. Use your consumables, your pots, so we use Refreshing Healing Potion. It restores 128,000 health, which is pretty much just over half for us, so you'll pop them as and when you need to. Obviously we don't right now, so we can't, but yeah. And that's pretty much kind of the rotation and how you want to just continue to do damage. Obviously, there's a lot of kind of cleave and AoE in there, which makes it really nice. Really good for mob pulls in AoE, and then because obviously the bosses as well, they obviously work out perfect. Especially on ads. Really good. Again, with Mythic Plus, we do tend to target or focus, sorry, more on the kind of AoE cleave side of it more than we do pure single target. But if you've got someone well, that's basically kind of what Demon Hunters are built around. So you can still do absolutely crazy single target damage with these. They are still one of the highest spec tiers for Dragonflight. They did take a little bit of a nerf early, either just before season 1 or just after season 1 came out. I can't quite remember, but overall, still one of the best DPS tiers by far. A little post tip as well, just to give you guys a heads up. If you're a Blood Elf, you can use Arcane Torrent, which also is like it does have a 2-minute cooldown, so it's not something, again, we use a lot. But it does generate 15 Fury for us, so it's not too bad. There's a little Fury generator as and when we need Fury. But yeah, you shouldn't have too much of an issue. You shouldn't have too much worried about your Fury. With the way this is built, it's kind of, you don't have to worry about builders and spenders too much. Main builder I use is obviously Fellblade. Obviously because of one of our passives as well, Demon Blades. It gets rid of, it replaces Demon Bite, so you actually lose that skill. But due to this passive, you can see in the tooltip, Demon Blade has a chance to reset the cooldown of Fellblade as well. So you can get 2 of these off at once if you need to. But again, it's more just like, I kind of just use it as a mover to get back in. If I don't have a Fell Rush, if I don't have a Hunt, it's kind of there. And then again, like when I'm outside of my Essence Break window, which is essentially when you're waiting for Essence Break to come down. Essence Break, you do have 4 seconds as well after it's cast, where you will deal more damage for 4 seconds, which is why we focus then on using our Blade Dance, but like the Metamorphosis version of it. So when we I-beam, it becomes Death Sweep. After we Essence Break, we make sure we hit Death Sweep straight away, and then we get a couple of Annihilations or Chaos Strikes in there as well. And that's how you're going to really output the most damage in that instance. Again, like I say, I might not be the highest rated PvE in the world at Mythic Plus, but, you know, I managed to get a Mythic rating of over 1,000 in just like a couple days. So, and I've done a lot of research on it, and I've watched endless other videos, and I wanted to just make sure you guys got kind of everything all in one video. Links to this Mythic Plus sort of export string, whatever you want to call it, is going to be down in the description, so you can just literally go into your talents, create a new loadout, call it Mythic Plus, whatever you want to call it. No, sorry, don't click new loadout, sorry, click import, paste it into there, call it whatever you want, and then you'll get the exact correct loadout, specs, whatever you want to call it. Alright, that's the video anyway. If there's anything I missed, or if there's anything you still have questions for, then please just drop a comment below. I'd love to see a comment. Let me know how I done on my first sort of WoW my first sort of WoW build and guide. I'll take any feedback, good or bad. Obviously I'm sure the more we play it, the more we get used to it, the better we'll be coming at these videos for sure. But look, guys, at the end of the day, thank you very much for watching. You're all amazing, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Take care and bye bye.